Hello, my name is Andy and I am the village idiot, and I'm on with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Welcome back to the city of Wakefield. Now, today I'm beginning outside a big building which is behind those trees over there. And I'm also next to a village sign, and as you can see, this is South Hindley's sign. Now, I'm not about to make another South Hindley episode because I've already done that, and you can see that on the channel. I'm actually going to make one today about the one that's this way. And we'll discover what that is in a moment after I've taken you across the road to look at this building, because I did promise in the South Hindley episode that I was going to start outside this rather large building, which I did put in the picture bit of that episode as well. Let's see if you can remember what it is. Today we're in Hemsworth. As promised at the end of the South Hindley episode, today we begin the Hemsworth episode of Wakefield at Holgate Hospital before we tackle the town itself. This straddles the border between the two. Originally a grammar school and hospital or almshouses, this magnificent set of buildings was founded in the mid-16th century. They owe their existence to Robert Holgate, thought to have been born in Hemsworth, who was consecrated Archbishop of York in 1544. The school, established in October 1546 by letters patent granted by Henry VIII, did not thrive. At times there were complaints about the masters failing in their duties, which were to teach Latin, Greek and Hebrew. There were periods in the 18th century where there were no pupils. Eventually the school would move to the more populous Barnsley in 1888. However, the almshouses still exist and still offer housing accommodation in a complex of 24 cottages for selected elderly people. There was an endowment originally for a master and 10 poor men and 10 poor women from the locality. This was based on revenue from lands which Archbishop Holgate held. The total net assets of the modern day charity which continues the work here are £20.7 million. Now, you'll recall in the South Hindley episode I mentioned that the border between South Hindley and Hemsworth runs right down the middle of this thing, and it does. It's right in the centre, it straddles the border. And now we're going to move away from the Holgate Hospital and we're going to go down into Hemsworth. Now, today's main walk will concentrate on the town centre, but Hemsworth is a big old place, very residential, and the first thing we're going to do is take the car around some of those housing estates. So the camera's going on the dashboard. Let's go and have a look at what housing estates we have in the town of Hemsworth. So we actually saw a little bit of the town centre on that little drive around, but now we're going to have a walk around the town centre. And it's not an extensive route this. I've planned a route generally around the main sort of bits of Hemsworth right here in the centre. And then we're going to put the camera on the dashboard again later to check out the other side of Hemsworth, the housing estates on the eastern side of the town. And after that, I've then got to go to Fitzwilliam and Kinsley, which are also within this parish as well. So let's check out the town centre next. Historically, within the West Riding of Yorkshire, Hemsworth has a population of 13,311, which increases to 15,350 for the area that's covered by its electoral ward. Whilst Hemsworth's recent history and reputation are dominated by the coal mining industry that developed in the latter part of the 19th century, it has long existed as an agricultural village. In those more recent times, Hemsworth was a one-industry town. The mines employed the vast majority of residents, and the closure of the pits during the 1980s led to huge levels of unemployment and deprivation in the area. However, Hemsworth can count itself as one of the lucky ones after the closure of the mines, along with nearby villages such as Ackworth, Havercroft, Ryehill and South Hemsel, all of which we've seen already. It was made into a special regeneration area. Fortunes have improved as a result. The West Yorkshire cycle route, something we caught sight of in South Hindley, again makes an appearance as it makes its way through the town here. The current MP as of 2021 is John Trickett of the Labour Party, who's represented Hemsworth since a by-election in 1996. In fact, with no surprises here given this is a former mining town, Labour has represented the seat of Hemsworth since its creation in 1918, and from 1966 to 1974 held it with the largest majority of any party in the UK. So here outside Groveley Primary School there's a road sign, Grove Terrace to the left and Little Hemsworth to the right. I wonder if that's actually a settlement within Hemsworth or whether that's just the street name. Who knows? Hemsworth's name means Hymel's Enclosure. It's mentioned in the Domesday Book as Hemel's Word and in the 12th century as Hymel's Word. Into the Middle Ages it was a township in the Wapentake of Staincross, and it's also thought to have been in the honour or feudal barony of Pontefract. Enclosure was brought about by an Act of Parliament in 1803, though it was not a revolutionary change. It ended the tithe system in kind and allocated common land to local landowners, particularly to Sir Francis Lindley Wood and less so to Earl Fitzwilliam. As a West Yorkshire town, there's no surprise here that there's a rugby club. We'll drive past that in a short while. Geographically, Hemsworth lies at the crossing point of the Barnsley to Pontefract and Wakefield to Doncaster roads. The junction where these roads cross, Cross Hill, is the heart of the original village where the parish church and the George and Dragon still face each other. As a small town now, Hemsworth is, as you might expect, a lot larger than most of the villages we go to on the channel, and the centre of the place even looks and feels like a town as opposed to a large village. Hemsworth Town Council was formed under the provisions of the Local Government Act 1972 and came into existence on the 1st of April 1974, succeeding the former Hemsworth Urban District Council. There are still some remnants of that council around. You may remember the Billingly episode in Barnsley and the bus shelter which still bears the Hemsworth Council markings. 5 wards of Hemsworth Town Council serve the town and the villages of Fitzwilliam and Kinsley. 3 councillors serve on each ward, and those are Hemsworth East, Hemsworth South, Hemsworth West, Fitzwilliam and Kinsley. The nearest train station is in Fitzwilliam, the station at Hemsworth having closed in 1967. The local weekly newspaper is called the Hemsworth and South Hemsel Express, published by JPI Media, the parent company of Yorkshire Post newspapers, and which also publishes the Scotsman and scores of local papers and websites. The Barnsley Chronicle's local news coverage also extends here. Despite the difficulties it suffered, in May 2005 the Office for National Statistics estimated that unemployment in Hemsworth was just 2.8%. This marks progress from periods in the previous 2 decades where it could reach as high as 50%. So on the wall of the bakery across the road here, Shelton's Bakery, there's a blue plaque about Cyril Bruce. I will tell you a little bit about him now. Cyril Bruce was better known as the Tramp of Hemsworth and was often seen outside Shelton's Bakery and the newsagents opposite. He was a lover of the market here, and he and his dogs were well known to many a Hemsworth resident. Demographically these days, Hemsworth is made up of 98.1% white British citizens, with the largest minority group here being Asians and mixed multiples. The town covers a rather large 16.84 square kilometres, giving Hemsworth a population density of 839.5. And if you wanted to buy a house in the town, you'd be looking at an average house price of £146,000. Later on, when we hit Fitzwilliam, also within Hemsworth to its northwest, we'll see just how much regeneration has changed the area. Amenities now, and we begin with community centres. First up, the Bullenshaw House Resource Centre on Bullenshaw Road. Hemsworth Community Centre is also on Bullenshaw Road. The centre has a full disabled access and on-site car parking, and within the centre there's a number of rooms to accommodate a variety of uses both for business and private hire. Outside the centre is a striking war memorial. In 2008, the War Memorials Trust granted £2,300 towards works to the memorial garden, which included the removal of a hedge and low stone wall and a replacement 5-foot-high wall to match the existing wall. This new wall contains plaques which commemorates those killed in World War II and subsequent conflicts in gilded lettering. So across the road here we've got a farm foods shop, superstore. Not the only supermarket Hemsworth's got, it's got a big Tesco, which we'll see as well in a few moments' time. Here's Tesco as seen from Station Road. Let's get a little closer. Right next door is the library, and it was at this point I noticed something pretty unique about the Tesco here, also to do with the local buses. So this is pretty cool. Here at the Tesco, it's sort of combined with Hemsworth bus station, because as you can see there are bus stands just there, and it's right next door to the Tesco supermarket. That's handy if you're coming into town to do a bit of shopping at Tesco. Get off the bus, you're right here. Stagecoach provides bus service 28 from Barnsley to Pontefract, which serves Hemsworth's bus station. Service 195, run by Arriva Yorkshire, links Hemsworth and Wakefield via Rye Hill. The town has a range of shops and supermarkets, both chain stores and independent retailers. It's a fairly sizable town centre in all, and certainly very busy, seemingly quite popular. It used to have a market, but this has now gone. There are some plans, however, as of 2021, to provide the town with a KFC and a Costa, amongst other new amenities in the town centre. Towering over it all is St Helen's Church, standing prominently as it does on a small hill. It was largely rebuilt by John Loughborough Pearson, retaining some medieval fabric. It's built in sandstone, with the roof of the nave being tiled, and elsewhere there are stone slate roofs. The church consists of a nave, north and south aisles, a south porch, a chancel with a south chapel, and a north vestry, and also a large west tower. This tower has 4 stages. It contains a 3-light west window and has a plain parapet. There are some other religious buildings here in Hemsworth too. On Market Street there's a Roman Catholic church which is right next door to Tesco's petrol station. There were 2 other Roman Catholic churches locally, one of which was Our Lady of Graces in Kinsley. On Westfield Road there's a Methodist church which is directly across the road from the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. In terms of pubs, the Bluebell and the aforementioned George and Dragon Inn face each other across Market Street. The George and Dragon is listed in Pigot's Directory for Royston in 1834 as a basic ex-Wilson's pub that once retained cask ale in an area where it was scarce. Now, the only information I could find about the King's Head pertained to it being reopened in March 2015 after a radical refurbishment. It looks a lot different now to the image that I found of it. There's a link in the description to show you what I mean. Schools next. Primary schools in Hemsworth are St Helens CFE Primary School, Grove Lee Primary School, which we've already seen, and Sacred Heart Catholic Primary and West End Primary School. As for secondary schools, here's Outwood Academy, which was set up in 1921 as Hemsworth Grammar School, the first secondary school in Hemsworth after Archbishop Holgate School relocated to Barnsley in 1888. Outwood Academy incorporates Hemsworth High Hall, a large house that was extended in about 1770, one of the town's listed buildings. There's also Cedars Children's Centre on Barnsley Road, and that leaves us with healthcare, which Hemsworth provides nicely with the Grange Medical Centre on Highfield Road, complete with Cohen's Chemist close by. The town also has a job centre on Market Street, and municipal needs are met too with the Household Waste Recycling Centre at South Kirby, just a short drive away. Okay, that's pretty much going to do it for the town centre. Now let's see what the eastern side of Hemsworth looks like. Camera back on the dashboard now. Okay, now I've come up to Kinsley, which is to the northwest of Hemsworth, and this is the first of the two settlements which also fall within Hemsworth boundaries. Now, for the most part, this part of Kinsley is industrial, as you can see, although there is something rather nice behind these industrial units which I'll work my way towards. Kinsley is a village just to the north of Hemsworth. This is a rural ex-mining village. The village is on the B6273 Wakefield Road and approximately 7 miles from Wakefield to the northwest, and a similar distance from the towns of Pontefract and Castleford to the north. The village is probably best known for the Kinsley evictions on the 15th of August 1905, when 25 families were evicted from their homes by police during a strike at Hemsworth Colliery. They were made temporarily homeless and eventually set up camp at Wakefield's Outlaw Hall. Kinsley Greyhound Stadium is at the centre of the village on Wakefield Road. This has a track circumference of 385 metres. It was built and opened in 1939. The track was originally a flapping track, and despite the significant stature of the track, it was not until 2000 that the decision was finally taken to apply for an NGRC licence, which was granted. In 2018, the stadium signed a deal with ARC to race a Tuesday and Friday matinee meeting and also a Sunday afternoon meeting every week. Kinsley Boys Football Club play over the road. Now we're heading back the other way and through the industrial area towards Hemsworth Park Care Home. In the car park here, you might be able to see a winding wheel, one of the more unusual places to spot one. Kinsley has no church, or at least none that I could find on the map whilst I was here. However, this building used to be one, which is now a set of apartments. Also in Kinsley is the Hemsworth Water Park, situated on the outskirts of the village between itself and Hemsworth. Hemsworth Water Park has two lakes. The largest lake is available for pedalo rides, and believe it or not, it even has a beach, albeit man-made. The smaller of the two lakes is in a more secluded area to attract wildlife. Both lakes are stocked for fishing, which is available all year round, and there's also plenty of grassed areas for picnics and games. Also in the water park, there's Playworld, an outdoor adventure playground which is suitable for children of all ages, with a tower slide, climbing frames, a toddler's sandpit area, and a miniature railway. So do not adjust your eyes, you really are seeing a beach shop here, which is quite amazing considering we're in Wakefield and absolutely nowhere near the coast, because there is a beach there. Amazing. Right, we've just got one more thing to tackle here in Hemsworth, and that's Fitzwilliam. But before we do that, I'm going to give you a picture bit. Here it comes right now. So as you'll have seen, the picture bit focused mainly on the area between Kinsley and Fitzwilliam, because I've come to Fitzwilliam for two things primarily. First of all is a football club, which I'm just heading towards now, and second of all is a train station, which is a little walk away, but I'll use that time to film things in between. So here we are. Here's Hemsworth Miners Welfare. Finally, we come to Fitzwilliam, and we begin this last section with Hemsworth Miners Welfare Football Club. The club are currently members of the Northern Counties East League Premier Division and play at the Fitzwilliam Stadium. The club was established in 1981 after the former Hemsworth Colliery Football Club folded the year before. On the sport theme, world-class cricketer Geoffrey Boycott was born here in Fitzwilliam in 1940 and attended Hemsworth Grammar School. Fitzwilliam itself is a small village on the edge of the parish. Whilst it's within Hemsworth's boundaries, the post office recognises it as a separate settlement from the town of Hemsworth. It was built as a pit village. It has a railway station on the Wakefield line, providing it with connections to Leeds, Wakefield, Doncaster and Sheffield. The railway station closed in 1967 but reopened in 1982, and the line was electrified in 1989. We're crossing that line now over the Miles footbridge built in 1957. The village provided housing for miners at the colliery here, originally named Fitzwilliam Main. The name was taken from the family name of the colliery's proprietor. Between 2003 and 2006, part of the village was demolished to clear derelict properties. Newer houses have since sprung up here, and the area looks so very different to how it once would have done during the times of the mines being operational. The mine later changed its name from Fitzwilliam Main to Hemsworth Colliery, and it closed in 1969. Kinsley Drift Mine was opened on the site of the old Hemsworth Colliery in 1977. The band Chumbawamba recorded a song named after the village, which described its decline following the miners' strike. The village also plays a large role in the crime novel 1974, in which it's referred to as a dirty brown mining town. Dirty brown or not, you can't deny the Miners' Welfare Club is one of the most amazing ones the channel has ever seen. The miners' strike of 1984 and 85 saw a riot take place in Fitzwilliam on the 9th of July 1984. 9 people, who would go on to be known as the Fitzwilliam 9, were convicted of a public order offence as a result. Fitzwilliam Country Park is now what you'll find on the site of the former drift mine. It was landscaped in 1991 and transformed into a country park consisting of wide open spaces, woodland, amenity grassland and ponds, managed to protect and improve its habitats for the benefit of wildlife. Water voles have been recorded on the park in the past, and skylarks and buzzards are often seen here. It's a valuable wildflower site for the southeast of the district, and the ponds are home to a variety of dragonflies. And seeing as this is a mining area, you're almost guaranteed to find one of these, a winding wheel. This one is right next to Fitzwilliam Railway Station, which is the closest station to Hemsworth. Before we take a look at the station, check out this amazing artwork on the walls of this bridge over the railway line. This is fabulous stuff. The current station was opened on the 1st of March 1982 as one of a series of improvements to local rail services made by the West Yorkshire Passenger Transport Executive. It would replace the LNER station several hundred metres to the north, which opened as Fitzwilliam Halt on the 1st of July 1937, but fell victim to the beaching cuts within little more than 30 years, closing on the 6th of November 1967. Unlike its modern incarnation, the original station consisted of a single island platform accessed from the adjacent road bridge. The current station is unstaffed and has 2 wooden platforms with waiting shelters on each side. Do you know, all the way around Hemsworth and Kinsley and most of Fitzwilliam, I didn't find a parish notice board, and I still haven't found one really, but there is an information board here at Fitzwilliam Station. So guess what? One of these things is going on this. I don't want to spoil this painting though, so it's going to have to go this side, I think. Oh, doing this left-handed, which is not a good idea. There we go, we're on. Right, that is Hemsworth officially done. And there you go, another one down in the district of Wakefield, the city of Wakefield. And I'm going to move on to my next one now, but that's going to come your way after Christmas, because this is the last one that goes up on the channel before my Christmas break. So Merry Christmas everybody in Wakefield, Merry Christmas everybody in Hemsworth, and everywhere else around the Wakefield district. I've been Andy, this has been the parish in the town of Hemsworth, and I've been the village idiot, and I'm out.